What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing on this fabulous Friday morning?
I mean, besides you like totally roasting me, I feel like this entire prelude into this episode, I'm doing all right, man. Listen, for the obvious source sight in the room here, no pun intended. My contact trip this morning, got to wear glasses. I understand. I look like an absolute dweeb today, but I'm doing all right, man. How are you? And when the show drops or is dropping, has dropped.
Has
So,
dropped. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. First of all, I didn't bully you at all. Okay. Second of all, I think you look great. I think you look studious. That's what I said. You look like a mad scientist, and you look good, Dan. Don't let
People say
anyone
I'm
tell you
usually a little
different.
bit nicer when I'm wearing my glasses. And also, I do kind of feel a little studious wearing them. Not going to lie. So maybe my takes will be better today. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no, we have a lot to talk about. Before we get into that, though, huge shout out to FOCO. Use code Yankees Avenue for 15% off your purchase. They have the best Yankees merchandise, best merchandise in general. Use the link in the description or just head over to FOCO and use code Yankees Avenue at checkout.
Speaking of merchandise, I was thinking about not wearing anything on opening day, by the way. I might watch the game nude.
Okay, getting into topic number one here. Dan, Josh Donaldson hit 2 home runs over there on Wednesday. Credit to his new stance. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really realize that it was a new stance. You're the one who called it out, so cool, I guess. But now his spring OPS is up to 862. How encouraged are we that Donaldson is raking this spring?
All right, I think we got to relax just a little bit because, before those 2 homers, his OPS for the spring was at a 608. Regardless, spring stats, they mean nothing to me. But I want to say, I personally think Josh Donaldson has actually looked pretty terrible this spring, Pat. I mean, ground outs, strikeouts, approaches pretty much look the same. However, Pat, I am a big fan of new stances, and I was reading up on his while, I saw the 2 homers. I don't get too excited over that. So I had to do my research, right? Of course, you see he's a little bit more stood up. I'll put it in the B-roll here. A little more stood up, less of a leg kick, Pat. But most notably, there's a lot less movement. And I was reading this article, and it was very interesting because Donaldson didn't want to ditch the movement, but the Yankees were pretty much saying to him, like, yo, bro, this isn't why you were good. You just happen to be very talented and having great seasons while you also were having to be doing this. So what they kind of told him was, yo, ease up on that. It's only going to hurt you as you get older. And with that, Pat, you know how I am? I don't want to say gullible, if that's the word, but I'm very easily won over. And Josh Donaldson and his new stance, and when you kind of immediately hit 2 homers doing it, I'm a little excited, Pat, not going to lie. This is typical week before opening day thing. Everybody's in the best shape of their life. Everybody's optimistic. This is where I'm at with that. I won't deny it, but I'm kind of interested. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is you have to be, right? Because the way I look at it and the way I feel like you look at it too is we're giving all these guys fresh slates going into the 2023 season. And the problem with spring training is Yankee fans and baseball fans in general, they only seem to follow the stats that fit their narrative, right? Like, let's say Donaldson had a 500 OPS this spring, they'd be feeding into that narrative. Oh, Donaldson sucks. He should have been DFA'd, yada, yada, yada. But now that he's had a pretty productive spring offensively, they're kind of just silent, being like, oh, he can't do that during the regular season. And I'm sitting here, I'm giving credit where credit's due. Donaldson needed to have a good spring training, and he's had a really good spring training. Like, if you look at the numbers, he has had a good spring.
Once
Am I
again,
wrong?
the OPS before those 2 homers was 608. So if you look at the OPS now,
But
versus
that's,
the
bro,
numbers, it's fine. I don't think people are really forgiving Josh Donaldson. Well, not forgiving. I know you're not saying that, but I don't even think they're being silent. I think a lot of people are saying, oh, who cares? And be like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. It's only spring. We're the kind of fans where, yo, we want the Yankees to do well. We're going to root for these guys. And with that, like you said, we're giving them a fresh, clean slate. So I'm not going to look at 2 homers and a new stance from Donaldson and be negative about it. Nobody should. Same with Hicks and his spring. I know we've kind of talked about this a lot in this show, but yeah, I think Yankee fans, you should be optimistic about this. To change a swing and immediately hits 2 homers. I think it's a good thing.
No, I'm really excited about Donaldson going into this year. The only thing that I will find intriguing is the amount of playing time he gets, right?
Yes,
Because
very concerned about that.
the key here is the health of the Yankees infield, right? Because if DJ LeMahieu, Gleyber Torres, whoever the hell their shortstop is going to be, Anthony Rizzo, if all those guys stay healthy, Donaldson's not looking at that much playing time. But there's so many variables that go into it.
Dude.
But that's the thing. There's so many variables. Like I mentioned, all those guys in the infield. Another thing is Stanton playing in the outfield. How often are the Yankees going to play Stanton in the outfield? Because if they do, that opens up the DH for Donaldson. So I think it's going to be super, super intriguing to see how the Yankees manage Donaldson's playing time this year. I would assume that he probably still plays 3 to 4 games a week.
I mean, I think the way it's headed, there's a good chance where he's playing 5 out of the 6 games a week. My hope is that, because there's no question, if you have Volpe down in AAA and it's only Donaldson, Glaber, your shortstop, Rizzo, DJ that you have to deal with, that's easily manageable. 5 infielders for 4 spots with a DH, all that's no problem. I've put out the point out there that you could also have Volpe on the roster and make it work. Only difference, though, in this scenario, if you have all 6 of them on there, is that Donaldson does then become sort of a bench role, which I still think could be valuable. I mean, even if you were still playing like 2-3 times a week, the good defense is there, and he can run into one regardless of what kind of like where he's at in his career. And off the bench too, if you truly believe in Josh Donaldson, like his bat off the bench, if he's legitimately like a decent Josh Donaldson, like that's crazy valuable to have. So like, I'm not one of those Yankee fans, and you're not either, where it's like, yo, this guy sucks, cut him automatically. No, like we understand there's a process to this whole thing, and like he's going to be on the team. That's fine. I would probably have him on the team too. Everyday starting third baseman, not so sure about that.
He could be, like, if he plays up to
it's possible.
Potentially could be. But I mean, kind of like last thing I'm going to say here about Donaldson is that I'm very excited. And I know a lot of Yankee fans are kind of just stuck in their ways, is kind of a good way to put it, and kind of not open to starting to like a player that they didn't like. I didn't like Josh Donaldson in 2022. However, bro, he can win me over so easily this season just by performing decently.
All right,
and he's done that so far. So I think that Donaldson's going to take that like FU mentality and bring it into the regular season. And I'm looking forward to seeing it happen.
Fair. One thing I just want to clarify, at least on my end, all I'm asking for is the clean slate part of it. I understand why somebody wouldn't be excited for Donaldson going into this year, but when it does happen, and this part isn't even like something I'm worried about, like when he does well, you better cheer him, which Yankee fans will. That's how it always goes. So
will they though?
Yes. Oh, without question. I mean, it's not like he killed anybody. Like if you perform, I mean, we saw them.
You got
Alex, man. Like when he came back from suspension, bro, like he was like the whole talk was like he was going to get booed, and then he ends up hitting 33 homers, and he's like the best dude of all time again. So it's like,
yeah, I guess. No, I guess it
depends.
Works. But I mean, there's guys like Aaron Hicks where it's like, yo, even if Hicks is batting like over 300 after April, like you're still going to have Yankee fans calling for his head if he has like a sub 250 batting average with runs and scoring.
Well, that's the problem with these guys. They haven't really bought themselves a lot of time or a lot of stock, where it's like with Judge, like he goes on a 2-week slump, like, you know what he's done for us before. Whereas with Hicks, or more so just Donaldson, like what has he really done to be like, all right, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So he needs to come out hot, man, for like the purpose of getting Yankee fans back on the side, but even hopefully just to stay in the lineup. Because even if they do start putting him out there every day, 5-6 times a week, like I would like to have enough faith in the Yankees to where, all right, a month and a half in, if he's still doing what he's doing last year, like you really got to make a change. So,
yeah. And we'll see, I think part of it is like delusional optimism, just in the sense of like, I'm looking at how bad the Yankees lineup is, and I'm just hoping for the best, bro, with every single player, because that's all we could do at this point. And that's what the Yankees need in order to be successful this year.
That's interesting.
In order to be successful this year, they need all those guys to play up up to their potential. And that's why I'm looking at like the Yankees World Series odds, and the fact that they're like the second favorite now.
They always are. They just want people to bet on the Yankees.
But it's insane to me that the Yankees are such heavy favorites still, even with like a weak lineup, injuries to the rotation. It just kind of goes to show like what the expectations still are for this team.
Yeah, and I just want to one last thing on your what you said about being a delusional optimist. Like this is the time of year to do it, man. Like everything is sunshine and rainbows right now. At least I think if you're like a normal operating person. I'm not saying you got to be like a legitimate like delusionist, but if you're going to be on one side of the fence on March 24th, a week before opening day, be on the optimistic side of it. Like, that's kind of where the cool kids hang out, bro. To be honest with you.
Would you consider yourself one of the cool kids?
Yeah. When I'm not wearing my glasses, absolutely. Right now, I actually feel like a dweeb, dude. Like I was walking over to the other block to get a sandwich before. And like, I was like, I'm just gonna wear my glasses because usually I don't out of the house. I made it like half a block and it was just like, nope.
Were you self-conscious?
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like the way looking glasses.
No, I think you should have just rocked it. Like, I think it would have just been like very macho of you to just rock your glasses, be like, yo, I think I look good, you know?
That'd be being a phony, bro. That's not me. I just don't look good in glasses.
Yeah. Well, I think you look great, Dan. All right, Dan, getting into topic number 2 here. Gerrit Cole. We haven't talked about Gerrit Cole enough on this show, but I found out a couple days ago that he actually has an opt-out in his big-time contract after the 2024 season. However, the Yankees do have a void to the opt-out where it's like they could give him an extra year, I think, for the same AAV or something, and tack that on to the end just to kind of void his opt-out. But a lot of Yankee fans are kind of concerned, being like, yo, maybe he leaves the Yankees in a couple years. Cole was asked about it, and he laughed and said he hasn't thought about it yet, as I haven't either, just because, I mean, it kind of feels so far away at this point. But do you think there's any chance he uses it and kind of just escapes New York?
Nah, I think there's no chance he leaves. But dude, you know what's funny? I feel like every time there's like a big deal and they have an opt out that isn't like within the first few years, I'm like, oh, that'll be like ages away, and he'll never accept that. It's not possible. But it's so soon in a way. I know you said it's kind of far away, but bro, after next year, like, and it's still very possible he's like just as good then as he is now. Gerrit Cole could become a free agent. Now,
Yeah.
I have no worries that he's not going to be a Yankee. He's going to stay in New York. But what I think could end up happening here is maybe similar to like what happened with CC and his opt out back in like 2012. Now, his was one of those where it was like a little bit earlier in the deal. I think it was like 3 years in. What happens is he opts out and the Yankees end up, or threatens to opt out, and the Yankees end up reworking a deal with him. I think that happens here with Cole. And actually, I got a deal for you, Pat. It's not anything too crazy. Like you mentioned, he'd have 144 over 4 remaining, 36 mil a year. I think make it simple. Just add on another 26 million on top of that. What's that? 170 over 5, $34 million AAV. I don't see Cole being like stingy about this. Like, I'm not worried about any like weird negotiations or anything. I just think, yeah, just tack on like an extra year, a couple, maybe 20, 30 million bucks. Chilling.
Yeah. I think also, I mean, it really depends on what happens in these next 2 years, right? Like if Cole wins back-to-back Cy Youngs, like, yeah, he's opting out. However, if he has 2 mediocre seasons, maybe he doesn't. Like, who knows what happens over these next 2 years? Hopefully, I mean, he doesn't have 2 mediocre.
It's so weird though, because like when we first signed that deal, it's like, all right, opt out at 34. He'll be kind of regressing. He'll be old by then. And then, like it happens, and it's like, I feel like Gerrit Cole is going to be the same dude now that he will be in like, or is the same dude now that he will be in like a year and a half, 2 years.
I'd hope
and
so.
That could become, yeah, like you would figure, right? So I do wonder, like, shit, on the flip side, he could test free agency. And if that's the case, he could get a fucking another bag. So it kind of just depends where his head's at. I think at this point, though, it's like, yo, you already set records. Like, he clearly wants to be a Yankee. Like I said, I think you just throw an extra year or 2 on there, nothing crazy, and he'll be a Yankee for life. Now, that is a number that 45 in Monument Park one day.
No. Yeah.
World Series ring.
Yeah.
Has to win. Same with Stan. I've said that before, but yeah, I
I
think
don't know why I said no. I think because when you said 45, I automatically just assumed it was like a random number. But no, bro, it's Gerrit Cole. So yeah.
If he wins a ring, yes. And give me like ace production through like 35, 36. And then kind of do like the CC thing where, all right, your last few years, like close to a 4 ERA, maybe a 4 or 5 starter. That's kind of an ultimate trajectory for like a pitching contract. I feel like CC's. That should work out good.
But I think that's also why, like, bro, I'm not scared in the slightest that he'll leave the Yankees. Like, genuinely, like, this isn't a fear I have even 1%.
No.
I don't see any chance he leaves the Yankees. He will retire as a New York Yankee.
I'm also so trusting of how smart he is that he's going to age well, I think. He's not just some meathead, like, mouth breather that's going to go out there and try to, like, hurl 92 or try to throw 97 when he really only throws 92 at the later age. Like, I think he'll get smarter or just continue to, like, hone in on his craft, if you will. And that made no fucking sense, but let's end the topic.
But before we do that, is it weird for me to say, like, Gerrit Cole is, like, cute?
Like his voice,
like,
or just
like he's like a teddy bear, bro. Like,
there's a word
like
for it, and it might unfortunately be cute. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like in the way where you say something like, I know
like,
what you mean.
Like he's
training,
odd. It started spring training when you were like, he was walking down the tunnel. He's like, hi, Marley. Like,
hi, Marley. That's how Cole talks.
Like, it's like wholesome. You know what I mean?
But he could also be so fucking badass too, to where it works.
No, I know. And when I sent you the video of him opening up his thing from like MLB The Show, and he was like, oh, thank you to whoever got me this. Like, bro, it's just, it's adorable.
No, you know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm with you.
Before we get into topic number 3, Dan, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, FOCO. Shout out to FOCO. They have all the best Yankees merchandise, all the best merchandise for every sport out there. Use code Yankees Avenue for 15% off your purchase. Dan, look at these hats, bro. They got the springtime collection coming on fire.
No, yeah, they're nice as hell, bro. Everything FOCO got is nice. And even so, bro, when you put this shit on, it clears up your vision too. Like, you don't even have to wear glasses. I'm not wearing glasses the rest of the show. Honestly, I just think I look like too much of a dweeb. But yo, FOCO, shout out to them. They got everything. This hat you see right here. I'm going to grab a random bobblehead from the ground. I almost just dropped it. Of course, Gerrit Cole, Whitey 4. They got a bunch more like this. Historical bobbleheads, active bobbleheads. These dope. I call them my Outer Banks board shorts, but you guys know the vibe. Code Yankees Avenue for 15% off.
We look like we're going on like a
Foco.com.
safari ride in the South Bronx.
It does look like that. You know what it does, bro? It's this. Like this gives off such. Who's that dude that RIP that died from the Stingray or whatever? The Crocodile Hunter, not Crocodile Hunter. What was his name?
Oh my God, what's it? The Australian guy.
Yeah, I kind of get those vibes wearing this.
Oh my God, what's his name? He has a
we got to move
daughter
on though. It'll come to us. Shout out Foco, code Yankees Avenue, 15% off.
But yo, speaking of MLB The Show, Dan, MLB The Show comes out today.
Yeah, which we haven't spoke about in 20 fucking minutes. But yeah, speaking of MLB The Show.
Yeah, so it came out today, and it kind of like starts grinding my gears a little bit. It gets me thinking. There's so many great sports video games out there. Do you have an all-time favorite?
MLB 16, The Show, without question. Like, and kind of an easy answer in a way, or hard answer, because all MLB games to me, like in the end, are kind of the same. I'm not one of those dudes that's like watching all these things for new features and what needs to be changed about the game. Because in the end, bro, like it's MLB. I'm just playing my franchise year in and year out, and that's my thing. But 2016, dude, it's kind of the way people talk about the old like Modern Warfare 2 and just the vibes around it. And like, you had your boys that you would play with. It almost like an everyday routine. I was working at a deli making sandwiches, bro. I also remember I was like just starting to get into the gym, and I was going with these friends, and it was like we were working together. We were doing all these things together, and like to finish at the night, we'd always have a big sleepover and play MLB The Show. And it was MLB 16 that really like, you know, I hold on to like those memories of like video games you're really attached to. You know, I had my Dragon Ball Z days, my Spider-Man days, but like MLB The Show 16, bro, crucial part of my life. So that's where I'm going.
I never got invited to any of those sleepovers.
I didn't know you yet, bro. So you were still 2 years away.
Oh, okay.
This is 2016.
Insane. But yeah, no, MLB 16 was cool. I think all the MLB The Show games are cool. But when I think of like my favorite sports game of all time, I feel like I have to go like a little nostalgic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
fair.
bro, sure, like 16 is cool, but I feel like that's still pretty recent. And also the problem with like the recent MLB The Show games, they're all the same thing to me. Like, bro, 16 is the same as 17, 17 is the same as 18. The only thing that's different is you as a human being. That hits. Like MLB 16, The Show, was probably a worse game than 22, but it only hit different because you were 16-year-old Dan, not 22-year-old Dan.
Oh, no, you're right about that. Like I say, you took tonight's game, MLB 23, put it back in 2016, or even MLB 10, The Show, or whatever. Like it would be the 2016, whatever game I was playing baseball wise was the greatest game of all time. So you're right about that.
Okay.
But give me yours. Goddamn.
My answer. Bro, honestly, this could be just about anything, but I'm going to go back to what I know. And that is the Mario baseball game for the Wii.
Oh my God. Like Superstar Sluggers or something? Super Sluggers?
That was the greatest sports game of all time. And the fact that it was on the Wii. Bang, bro. You get to be like the big turtle Bowser. You get to like mash home runs with them. They had like you draft your own team. Bro, legendary game. The only thing that could have made it better was like if you could include like Major League Baseball players in that.
All right, sure. I mean, it is a
That's
Mario
why the
game.
Bigs was bro, do you remember the Bigs?
Never played it, always heard good things. I just want to say Mario Super Sluggers, that was great pick by you, Pat. Me and my brother used to play that for hours, bro. We used to like beat each other up over that shit. I used to always play I don't know his actual name. I think it was like something Piranha. I would just call him Plant, that big ass Plant that would just slap home runs with his fucking leaf fucking hand or whatever. Yeah. That was a good ass game, bro. Can I just say, by the way, I'm very excited. For those who can't tell, probably know this by now. We're recording the night before. It's Thursday night. And the show hasn't come out yet, Pat. It is in like, I can't see the time, but like 3 or 4 hours. I'm really excited, dude. This is a good time of year. It's a good time of fucking year to be alive, Pat. I needed this.
It's the same thing every year. It's the same exact game every year.
No, but I'm just saying I've had a long week or two of just BS and crap that I've had to do. And I finally tonight at 12 o'clock get to just sit down and pour myself a nice glass of Diet Coca-Cola over ice. But enjoy myself a little boubange and just relax, have myself a night, knowing a week later will be Thursday. Yeah.
What's boubange?
I don't know. Look it up.
Not looking
Urban Dictionary, bro. I would look it up right now, but I wouldn't be able to see what it is defining.
Yeah, no. Wrap up the show, please.
Please, yeah. Let's wrap up the show. Yo, how do we do this? Socials?
TikTok and Twitter at Unhinged Patrick, Instagram at True Hennessy, and then also follow Better Baseball and everything. And also check out Better on YouTube. I'm streaming on there every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon, talking about baseball.
Hell yeah, bro. Also, a little schedule update. I'm not even sure, are we clear on this or not? We're going to do a show because, you know, things are changing back to normal come regular season. We'll have Monday and Friday episodes. But next week, this upcoming week, the week of opening day, We are going to be releasing either Tuesday or Wednesday, and then a show after opening day. We're not sure yet, or did we decide on that?
We're doing a season preview.
Yes, we are doing a season preview. Once, you know what it is? This is what, once the roster comes out. So if the roster is out by Tuesday, we'll record an episode, have it up Wednesday. If it comes out early, we'll have an episode out early. There you go. But Dan on Rourke on Twitter, Dan on Rourke on Instagram, Yankees Avenue here on YouTube. Please subscribe. God damn. Get me to 100K. It's almost embarrassing now. I'm like just chilling at 99. Okay. Like, I don't know. But yo, we're back. We're back, guys. One more week, less than a week.
We never left.
No, we did. We left for a little bit, but we're back.
I don't know about that.
See you guys next time. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees.
Her body's gold like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine.